I had precancerous cells in my colon. When they did the next colonoscopy, gone.
On.
No more. Tumor on my breast, gone. No evidence. I had fibroids. And I'm telling you, my stomach would swell like I looked like I was pregnant. Gone. So, this works. Natural healing works.
Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching A Healthy Alternative. Today, I have a special guest. Jennifer is with us today, and we're going to be learning about her health and wellness journey and how it has transformed her life in many different ways. We were just speaking a little bit earlier about, some of the things you experienced in your life that obviously caught me off guard because it's my first time hearing your story. So I'm definitely looking forward to sharing all that with the greater audience here. But thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. I love sharing everything that I've learned throughout the years. This has been something that I've been working, I think my entire life.
Mm.
Just being the fact that I was born with one kidney, and I was born with jaundice, and I had some issues with anemia my entire life. And it's just been a journey. Every pregnancy, the doctor would say, this is very dangerous, you having a child, and, you could bleed to death and all types of things. So the journey has been from very young till now. And at one point in my life, I did, rely on medication, conventional medication from doctors.
Mm.
And that was the time I did not know I had one kidney. And I was trying these methods that the doctor were giving me, and it wasn't working. It was not working. I wasn't getting better. I was being put on all types of medications. And I remember the day that my son, at the time, he was 4 years old, and I seen my son trying to help me do things, that a normal, a 4-year-old is not going to be doing. He's helping his sick mother.
Mm.
And I can't do this to my child. I cannot let him take care of me. I need to take care of him. And at this point, I'm already on all types of medications. I'm on opiates. I'm on antidepressants. I'm on medication for fibromyalgia. I'm on
Wow.
all stomach medications that are supposed to help my stomach because I'm having problems with leaky gut. I'm
Mm.
having problems with my thyroid. I'm having excruciating pain in my body because I had my face fractured in 2 areas, and I had a severe accident where I had whiplash. And
Wow.
so my body is like under attack. And all the doctors are giving me are medication and medication and medication. And they're telling me, you're basically, might as well file for disability. You might as well, file for disability because you're not going to be able to do the things that you used to be able to do. So that's when I'm just like, and my work requires a lot of mental. At
Mm-hmm.
the time, the work I was doing, I'm transitioning from, that type of the work I was doing before to something, what I'm doing now. And so at that time, it required so much mental work, so much time at the computer, and it was just like unbearable. I wasn't
Mm.
able to do it. And so when it came to a point where I was having to bandage my arms, bandage my ankles, bandage my knees to hold them up, to give me some type of support because my joints and my muscles were so weak.
Wow.
Uh, my hair was falling out. It was super short. I really didn't even have hair. I lost hair in between my eyebrows, right in here. My skin, it looked like if I had been on drugs. I
Mm.
had like pores and it just looked horrible. I looked horrible. And I looked at least 10 years older at that time, and I wasn't able to provide pictures, but I do have pictures, maybe another interview or something. But that's when I decided to take my health into my own hands. I
Mm.
decided to be my doctor.
Yeah.
And I started doing research. and I came across somebody who was doing juicing, who had she had fibromyalgia. So I just started following her because I said, all this has to be just pain related. And that's how I started my juicing journey. So yeah, and it started from there, and I started implementing simple supplements. Like I said, okay, I'm going to replace my pain medication for ginger and turmeric,
Mm.
example. So, they were giving me anti-inflammatories and pain medication. So I started looking for natural pain medication. So that was one. And then I started feeding my thyroid what it needed, supplementing and with food, So all of that started taking place, and it was amazing. When I did my first juice fast, this was about 7 years ago. I did my first juice fast, and excuse me, it was for 21 days, and I was just like, I was I was like in amazed. I mean, of course, I had pain, and I went through the withdrawals, but I said no. I threw everything.
Mm.
I said I went through the craziest withdrawals. I went through the craziest um, pain, as well. But the juice fast really helped me stay focused, and I kept remembering my why. Why am I doing this? You know, and that is what helped me get through that journey. And it went from there, and I just kept going. I just kept going and going and going, and people started telling me, my friends and family would tell me, wow, something's different, what are you doing? And I was just like, oh, I'm starting to, I'm eating right, I'm supplementing, I do juices every single day, and juicing just became part of my life after the fast.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious to know if you can maybe go into a little bit of detail about what you experienced in the way of withdrawal symptoms or detox symptoms when you were juicing, because a lot of people, they really don't know what to expect, and I feel like you probably had a nice variety of different things, and it's important for people to know that this is kind of like what can happen so they
Oh
can
yeah.
prepare mentally and not freak out.
Oh yeah. So yeah. So I watched. I just, I kind of like got myself out of the entire world as much as possible, besides my family, right?
Right.
But I chose not to go places, and I just like kind meditated on, this is what I'm going to do, and mentally prepare. Now, when day one was okay for me, day two, day three, day four, day five, oh my gosh, the headaches. I mean, I had like these headaches, like I literally, I would tell my husband, and he's like, let's just take you to the ER. I'm like, no, they're you're crazy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm having these headaches. I'm having these chills on my body. I'm aching. I mean, I can literally feel where was injured, injuries. I have my ankle. I've had my ankle fractured. I've had my rib fractured. I've had my knee and my leg broken. So, I've sustained so many injuries that when I was fasting, I literally felt where the injury was at. I could feel like something was going on. Like
Oh.
it was like, I was like, wow, and I started thinking about everything that I was researching. And I said, that must be the inflammation is being pulled out. There's some toxins in there that are getting removed. And of course, I'm going to feel pain.
Mm-hmm.
So I had sharp pains in my head from front to back, distorted vision. My face right here just felt like I had to like cover my face with a sheet maybe, and just kind of like I was in the dark,
Mm.
you know I wasn't able to function. But you have to understand, I was going through also a cleansing of conventional medication that I had been
Right.
taking for years. So here I'm getting pulled off medications as well.
Mm-hmm.
my second juice fast, it wasn't as intense. Okay. I've been doing this for years. It was not as intense. Just like this juice fast. I want to say it's been 3 months since I did a juice fast. So I felt headaches, and I don't eat very bad, so I'm not eating McDonald's. I'm not eating, so because if you're eating McDonald's, if you're eating like fast food,
Yeah.
or you're jumping on from like eating like really, really bad and a lot of sweets and sugar, you're going to have headaches, pain, achy joints. You may not be able to walk for a little bit. You may need to stay in bed. You're just going to be so agitated, and you can't hear anything, like your senses, and everything is just heightened. Everything, your smell. If you're a person who, you're around someone who likes to spray perfume or cologne, you're going to be like, oh, like, it's just, there's so much going on in your body. Your body is trying to repair itself. So that is what I experienced. I experienced, yes, I did feel hungry, but for me, like I said, I've been on a journey where I've been having to limit myself on what I eat because I was swell. So it wasn't like I'm missing cake right now, or I'm missing a hamburger or French fries. It was more like I'm hungry, something
You
to
weren't
eat.
dealing with like cravings like that. You just wanted to eat some
I
food.
wanted to eat. I didn't care. I didn't care if it was an apple
Yeah.
or it didn't. I didn't matter, But I said no. I'm gonna do this exactly with no food, and that's what you got. If someone's doing a fast, that's what you can expect. But the good news, there's always the good news, and the good news is we have to go through something, in order to get what we want. So
Yeah.
if you want results, you got to go through it. It's like if you're going to go to the gym and you're going to start working out, you're going to get sore. You're going to have pain. I mean, that's part of the process. And that's what I think people need to mentally prepare themselves for. That there is going to be a time where you want to give up, but that's where you need to put your full potential. How much do you really want this? And write down your why. What is your why?
Yeah.
Why do you want to do this? Like, why are you doing this? And if you do that, you can keep yourself really disciplined in that, keeping a mindset, and also structure yourself around people who are going to be cheering you on, and saying like, are you okay? Or do you need, you know what I mean? Like, you got to kind of like close your ears around other people. My family they really thought I was crazy for everything that I was doing. They thought I was insane. And I just said, I kept ignoring them. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to even go there. But when they seen the results, when they see me now, they're like, wow.
Right.
I have not, my hair, I'm telling you, this is the longest I've had my hair since I was a teenager.
Nice.
I'm 40 years old, and I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
So, it's beautiful. It's an amazing thing. If you've never done juicing, or you want to do the juice fast or a water fast, I personally have done water fast in my 20s, but that was to lose weight. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't being guided, or, I didn't do research. I think computers were barely like hitting,
Right.
So I was just like working and just drinking water all day, and I was losing weight. I lost 80 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I lost 80 pounds, and it went from a water fast, like for the first few days. And I think my stomach just got like really shrunk. And then came like, okay, I'm going to eat just one little thing a day. And that was it. I left coffee. I left Cokes. I was weighing, I believe, like 233, and I went down to 140.
Yeah.
So 6 month period.
6
Yeah,
months.
Yeah, that was in my 20s.
Wow.
So yeah, I was in my 20s. So and everybody would ask me, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I was just drinking water. I, I was drinking water, and then I could tell, like, sometimes I would feel like I need a little bit of something, like my sugar's dropping. So I
Mm,
drink apple juice. I didn't have a juicer. I didn't know anything about juicing.
wow.
So yeah, so that I have some before pictures and after on that time. That was a long time ago, but that's really where it's been a journey, like I said. But this ultimate, like the juice fasting for my health, that took place about 7 years ago. And ever since then, I have not turned back. I have not turned back. I have a testimony. I had precancerous cells in my colon.
Mm,
When they did the next colonoscopy, gone.
on.
No more.
Yeah.
Okay. I tumor on my breast. I have the report from
Mm,
1 year to the next, gone. No evidence, gone. I was just like, I had fibroids. And I'm telling you, my stomach would swell like I looked like I was pregnant.
mm,
Gone. So, this works. Natural healing works. Supplementing works. Teas, herbal teas work. Juicing, mindset, positive, getting out of that way of just being like everyone else and going in the direction where you're being led to do the right things for yourself. I've done, multiple things. And, I was diagnosed with a very rare blood cancer. It's called polycythemia vera. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
mm-mm.
Basically, what it is, it causes your platelets to go really high. So your body has a chance of having a heart attack or a stroke because your blood is, you're just making so much blood cells. And
Got
so one of the one thing that it does do, and I noticed this way before I was even diagnosed, and this is a diagnose, but what's so crazy is that doctors will diagnose you with all types of things, right? But what they did is they did it's called the JAK2 mutation test to make sure that before they diagnosed me, because I had already told them, like, before you diagnose me, please make sure what you're actually diagnosing me with, right? And so my mutation, it came out positive, and I found that a lot of people are starting to have these mutations.
Mm,
Now, it's either environmental. It could be, I had problems. Like I said, I was anemic most of my life. So that could also be one of the reasons. But you can live a complete normal life. There's some people who are extremely, that I found that they're having like these crazy symptoms. And I'm in groups and I'm listening to them and I'm seeing what they're taking, and they're all taking this chemotherapy medication, and they're all on aspirin and stuff. And I'm just like, I always tell them, like, this is what I take. Okay. So, and I'm going to share this with you guys. This is what I take. If you have a problem with blood clotting, or you are at high risk for a stroke, heart attack, if it's genetic, if you have high cholesterol, you definitely want to add turmeric, cayenne, and ginger. They're
mm,
all natural blood thinners. Do not take aspirin. And I'm
mm,
going to tell you, I was told I had to take aspirin for the rest of my life. My father was put on aspirin. He hit his head one time, from a fall, had a brain bleed, had a stroke, and he died.
mm.
Okay. So I did my research to see how many people have brain bleeds. It's crazy. And all because of aspirin. So
Wow.
aspirin. I won't take it. There's a lot of other substitutions for aspirin, but my go-to that works with my body, that doesn't make my irritate my tummy or anything like that, are those three. That's
Yeah.
what I take. I don't even need to take all three. So when I go, because I have to, I of course I'm not going to be not getting tested and stuff like that. So when I have to go see the oncologist, he's like, "Are you taking your aspirin?" No. And so I'm like, he's like, "Okay, well, your platelets are looking really good." And I said, "Do you want to know what I'm doing?" He does not care. Like,
No.
he does not care. And I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to share this with your patients. Like, it just freaks me out. And so that's a little bit of my story. I mean, I have been diagnosed with a lot of things, but I've been able to overcome those things. Besides the mutation, like, I'm not sure how that would, you know, like, it's a mutation, right? So what I feel, what I'm doing right now is keeping it in control, where my platelets are not going all crazy. And what I wanted to mention is that when I was doing the fast, I noticed that my skin started itching all over, like, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I even got rashed and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that that's a sign of also detoxification. If your skin starts itching, like stuff is pulling up. Also, acne, uh, you know, uh, what is it? Acne. I know I normally get acne because I've had acne issues all my life. So believe it or not, but acne was one of them. And I was just like, why am I getting acne everywhere? But it's part of the detoxification process.
Yeah. Getting all that material out of your system that
Oh,
otherwise has just been clogging it up, you know, hindering you from being able to detox properly, eliminate properly, and it just builds. I think
and
that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and if you're a smoker, like if you've smoked, you are gonna start spitting up gunk from your lungs.
Yeah, that
And
black stuff.
oh yeah, because I used to smoke, so I know. And gunk was coming up, and it was just like, wow, mucus, a built up mucus is going to come out. If you have allergies, or you're very prone to getting colds, you're going to start spitting up as well.
Yeah.
That's one too. Yeah.
I actually had a lot of mucus come up. Now, I was taking a herbal blend with my fast, so I know that encouraged mucus, but it was so much mucus. And I'm not an allergenic person. I never smoked. But just, I guess from eating dairy, I ate a lot of dairy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I spit up mucus for a month, every day
Oh
for a month.
wow.
And I got so used to spitting up mucus that when it stopped, I didn't even realize it. And the only reason I realized I had stopped spitting up mucus is because I had an ice cream bar and I started spitting up mucus again. And then it
Oh
triggered. I was like, I haven't had mucus in a long time, you know?
yeah. Yeah, that's a good one, and that's absolutely true. Dairy just creates so much mucus in the body, and so many people are allergic to it, and they really don't know.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking about that to one of my clients, and I told her, they really need to change the lunch menus in school. I said, because I I saw this with my own son, that every time he'd go back to school, like he would be home for the summer and then he'd go back to school and I'd see his face get poofy,
Hmm.
and I was like, it's the milk, because we don't drink milk in our home. It has to be the milk.
Yeah.
And the peanut butter. They give him those, what are they, those little peanut butter jelly sandwiches? I'm not sure what they're
Oh,
called, but they give him that. And
Crustables.
the
Is this like
Crustable,
the
the
Crustables?
milk. Oh my God, you're doing a double whammy, because peanut butter has mold, you
Hmm.
know, and then the milk has mold. And then they're giving them the bread that has all types of carcinogens in it. It's just crazy. It's
Yeah.
insane, insane. So, it's, I think when you learn uh, anything that has to do with a healthy living, natural living, you're able to share so much, and you can you're able to put that into your home with your children.
Right.
It's like it's like leaving something behind and teaching them well. That way they can do that as they get, as they get older, or they move out of the home, or they're on their own, and they'll remember, like, hey, I remember when my mom didn't feel good, she did this.
Yep.
Let me, you know? So it's just a huge reward system for anyone that jumps on a health journey. It's a huge reward system because it helps your friends, it helps your family, and then most of all, it's helping you.
Yeah.
And you matter, because if you have a family, and especially if you have children, I mean, you want to be healthy, you don't want to be thrown in bed. And I remember that, because I was there at one point in my life, and I'll never be there again. I'm so determined. I'm just like, I'm never going back to that place. I never will feel that way again, no matter what.
Mm.
If I have to go on juice fasting, if I have to fast consistently throughout my life, I will do it. You know?
I mean, it's a lifestyle, right? Like, and that's okay. It's like one of the most beneficial things we could do to help maintenance and just stay level. Or
Mm.
if you're really diseased, it'll help to bring you back to a state of homeostasis. Um, I actually had just learned about the peanut butter, because what people don't know is they actually use rancid nuts to make peanut butter, and then they chemically alter it so that you can't taste it, because we know naturally when we taste something if it's good for us or not. And that's why they use the chemicals against our taste buds, so we can't determine whether or not something's healthy for us to eat. Um, and it's one of those things that is really diabolical, in my opinion, because it's all being done intentionally. And then, as you mentioned, they're giving this stuff to our children. So that means the government is aware, because you
Oh
can't
yeah.
tell me that they don't know what's in these food products. And so if the government is complicit, then it's like you don't have that big brother that's like looking out for you. Like, big brother is taking advantage of you and basically milking you. So we have to be our own advocates. And,
Exactly.
and who's teaching the doctors, right? Like, you got to think about all of this stuff, because so all this time you're dealing with multiple different issues. You don't have a kidney. And I mean, people who have done any bit of research know that when you take medications and stuff like that, it's really hard on your kidney and your liver.
Oh yeah.
So for you, it was like that. They should have known that. You know what I mean? Like, they should have figured that out, because that was going to impact you even more severely than it does anybody else who has two kidneys.
Right.
Um, but I think it's amazing what you've been able to do, reclaim your health. And then, of course, the fact that you are sharing it, and you've also kind of began the process of altering your business, right? Like, you
Right.
are, so part of your journey was the juicing and everything, but you also were using certain supplements and herbs,
Right.
right?
And I'll go ahead and give you a little bit about that story. So while I'm on my journey of healing, and here I am, before this, my mom is my mom's taking care of me at one point. Okay. My mother.
Yeah.
And I start getting better, and I'm doing my natural healing, and everything. I'm supplementing. I'm doing all this research on vitamins that my body needs, and enzymes, and all this good stuff, right? Because I know I was having like problems with breaking down proteins, and I was just having a lot of issues. So as I'm doing this, my mother gets very sick. She ends up in the hospital, and she is diagnosed with fourth stage lung cancer. They give
Wow.
her 3 to 6 months to live, and my mother's obese at the time, right? So I'm just like, I just did like all my research on cancer, because
Mm.
I'm thinking, this is what I have. The doctors have not diagnosed me yet. This is what I think I have, right? Might
Mm.
as well do the whole research on cancer, because what could be worse, right? I'm just thinking, right? So I'm going to the worst case scenario. So we hear this from about my mom, and it's devastating, and she's on a set income at the time. And she had bronchitis, went into the hospital. They found a tumor the size of a golf ball in her lungs. And
Mm.
they said it already metastasized. It came from the thyroid to the lung. And, she was really sick. And so she decides to go with what the doctor says. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, mom, like, are you
Ugh.
serious? Like, you're gonna do chemotherapy? I go, I can't believe you. Like, I've been researching this stuff. I know all this stuff. I can help you, mom. And she's like, I'm gonna try it. I said, okay. Can
Mm.
you take some, I tell her, can you take some supplements that I recommend for people who do chemotherapy, just to help you through the chemotherapy? And she's like, yes, of course. So I tell her, what I think she should take. And I buy her the stuff and everything. And she has chemotherapy. She ends up in the hospital, almost dying. She had to have a blood transfusion. Chemotherapy, one session almost killed my mother.
Yeah.
That's how delicate she was.
Hmm.
She was very delicate, because I've heard people that they get chemotherapy and there's people that they're fine, but it
Right.
all has to tie into, your body, right?
Hmm.
So she gets out of the hospital, and I told, the doctor said, we're not going to do chemo. We give your mom 6 months, maybe the max. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, let me take care of you. Let
Mm.
me be your doctor. Please let me be your doctor. I said, let me lead you through this. And she's like, okay. So I start supplementing her. Okay. My mom, she was, she's obese, and I'm giving her juices. I'm giving her, ways of eating, but she's not going 100%.
Right. Right.
Supplemented her. I supplemented her for her lungs, to detox her lungs, like sea moss, black seed oil. I used reishi mushroom. I used a lot of mushrooms
Mm.
for the cancer, and then turmeric and stuff. But it was getting pricey, because I'm also treating myself, and I'm treating a son that has psoriasis, and my younger son who's pre-diabetic. So I'm trying to treat everybody, and
Yeah.
it's so I finally, my older son tells me, Mom, he gave me the idea. He says, why? And he's a creator. He loves creating things. He says, Mom, why don't you create your own supplements? I said, okay. He's like, yeah, I watched this video, and you can create your own stuff. And like, he's real into like creating things. And I'm like, okay, well, what would I do? And so he shows me. And I said, wow, this is a fantastic idea. Now let's source the stuff.
Hmm.
So, and that's just how it started. And it was something for our family. It was just for us. I never in my life thought that this would become a business. I
Right.
never thought, my mindset was not put on like, oh, we could do this and we can do that, or no, never. It just happened. It happened. And during that time, I'm treating my mom. She's doing better. She comes back after, I believe, I want to say 2 years. The cancer is, dormant. It's not showing any sign of movement or anything. Everything's going well.
Mm.
One problem she's having is that she's overweight. She's got COPD. She's not able to move very well because her hips hurt. And so those were the bad things, that were kind of like setting her back.
Right.
But we continued supplementing her, even for her pain. I put her on CBD, very good. Not with THC or anything, but
Mm.
just like a full spectrum CBD,
Yeah.
and that really helped her, so she wouldn't be trying to grab pain medication, along with the turmeric, along with ginger. It was a whole regimen for her. And so that's how my business was created, because of my mom.
Mm.
And because I could not afford to fund her. I did one time, I said, you know what, Mom, let's make one of those posts on Facebook where people kind of like donate to you so you can buy what you need. Oh
Right.
my God. It did not work. It didn't work. It didn't work. I seen people raising money for pets, and they were getting more money for pets than they would help someone who had cancer.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's not working. You know, GoFundMe, none of that stuff's working for you. We need to find another way. And that's how that happened. And so now this is what I do full time. I do consultations with people. I do mobile consultations. I use BioScan. It helps me identify like 20 organs in their body, what's kind of like off.
Mm-hmm.
Liver, it shows me if they have parasites. It's new technology. It works well. It helps me identify. I've also now know I've learned etiology.
Nice.
I'm very just like, it's exciting just to learn these, and I love to learn. So this is something that I was just like, why not? Why not learn more? And I did take a class for herbalist, so I could create my own blends. And as this journey has been going, it's so much learning, and it does require a lot of time. I spend sometimes like 12 hours just reading.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not a person. I'm not a person to be watching YouTube videos, although there's so much great information out there. I'm more of a book person. It's very like kind of like a sacred thing. Like I just feel like more connection with the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I do a lot of that, as well. But as far as my mom's journey, unfortunately, she did pass after 5 years.
Oh,
Um, she had got COVID in September of 2021, I think. I don't want to be specific on the dates, but
yeah.
she was doing perfectly fine. We had just moved her out of an apartment she was living in so she could live closer to me and my family. And she got COVID while she was in the hospital for a bronchitis infection.
Mm.
And then she got COVID from the nurses that were attending her. And during that time when she got COVID, they told us, they said, make plans. Your mom's not going to make it with her conditions and blah, blah, blah. She got out. She made it. She made it out, came home, and we had her for another 6 months. So I believe that whatever happened to her in there, the fevers that she sustained it from COVID, I believe that it spread the cancer very fast.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I tried my best. I tried everything. I was with her till the day she took her last breath. And I'm going to share something with you guys. On that day when my mother, and I can smile about it because me and my mom we were like best friends. So, we did so many things together, and I have so many great memories with her. And I'm just so blessed to even have had a mother, because she didn't get to have what I had.
Mm.
So I'm so grateful to have had both of my parents, and I took care of both of them. But I remember on her last day, I was checking her oxygen and it kept dropping. And I said, Mom, I'm going to make you a juice. And she's like, okay. And I made her a beet juice because, beet it helps the blood cells create oxygen, right? So I made her the beet juice. Her oxygen went up. This is 4 hours before she passes.
Yeah.
So it was just like she did that that's always going to stay with me, is that even at that, my mother still had that positive mindset. Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to drink the juice. You know,
Mm.
it might help me today. And she
Yeah.
did. And I had her on a juice fast on her last days as well. But because she wasn't able to eat. So I was just giving her juice.
Mm.
But that's a whole nother story, but that's why I created the business. And it went out like that. Like I didn't create it, it just happened. And
Right.
during the COVID pandemic, it was like everything happened, and people started asking me for help, and I started sending them COVID packages. And I had not released my business. I had not said anything about my business, but people knew me from following me on Facebook. And so I'm sending out these care packages where I'm making homemade cough syrups. I'm making fire cider. I'm doing like all these different things. I'm adding supplements to help them with their lungs and stuff. And I'm doing it for free. And
Mm.
then people start telling me, hey, why don't you sell your stuff? We like your stuff. And I said, you know what? Listen to my son. And I decided I'm going to go ahead and do it. Why not?
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
let's get away from doing all the tax paperwork and let's do something that you're actually passionate about. And
Mhm.
I'm extremely passionate about what I do. So I love it. It's an amazing journey, and I love helping people. Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell that you're passionate, and
Yes.
that's one of the reasons why I was like, yeah, come on the show. You know what I mean? I could just I get vibrations from people. I get a sense from people when I interact with them, and you know, I think the people that are really helping others in a great way are those who are
Right.
passionate. They didn't get into this because of money or some, kind of greed or whatever. It was because they genuinely want to help people. And then you develop processes for yourself, because that's exactly what I did. And it
Mhm.
works. And then you want to share it with someone else. And it works because when you do things the right way, when you get to the root cause of issues, it does
Yes.
work across the board, you know? Um, for clarification purposes, because I know you had mentioned that you're, first of all, I think the story about your mom is incredible.
Oh,
Obviously, we would have loved to hear a different ending, and that she didn't
I,
pass. But for the
I
doctors to say she has 6 months, and
oh
for her
yeah.
to live what, another 5 or so years, I
Right.
mean, that clearly speaks volumes, because they couldn't have done that.
No, and I'm going to tell you, her oncologist, he told me when he got back the report after 2 years of, this is like supplementing, this is doing all kinds of, natural stuff. Um, I go with her to her appointment, and he's like, I said, how's she looking? And he's like, great. He's like, what are you giving her? I said, natural herbs, natural. And he said, they don't teach us that in medical school.
No.
He says, I know about some of them that work, but I
Mm,
don't know how to dose. I don't know how to dose them. And I can't give that advice out.
right.
So I was like, wow, hearing that from the oncologist, I'm like, wow.
It's
So
illegal. They'll lose their license.
exactly.
There's
That's
a there's a doctor by the name of Jennifer Daniels. She teaches like different parasite cleanses and things of that nature. You know?
oh, yes.
Yeah. And she, I mean, they ran her, I think, what, she's in like Costa Rica or something,
Yep. Yep.
but that's what they do. So if you are out here and you're a white coat and you're actually trying to help people for real with natural supplements and stuff, they nix you. They blackball you. They take your license.
It's
So,
crazy. And I know who Dr. Jennifer Daniels, actually, I followed her for a Candida cleanse. I
okay.
think it's for the Candida diet.
Yeah.
If I'm mistaken, it's been a long time. Like I haven't gone, everything that I've studied, I have resources, I write down, okay, I resourced this here, or I found this here, or, and I'm, when I do it, it's like, I'll go into something for 3 hours
Yeah.
and learn just one thing. And it's just
Mhm.
like, I'll map it out. Like, have you heard of the MTHFR genetic
No.
mutation?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, that has to do with your B12s and your folate, how your body, some people have this genetic mutation that they have like this barrier where they're not able to, even though they're consuming stuff that have B12 and folate, they're not
Mm.
getting it. So I came to the conclusion at one point while I'm doing my research, I'm like, Jennifer,
Mm.
here's a problem. You have this problem. You have this mutation, or this has been, something that's going on like since you were little.
Mm,
And so I switched up my B12, to a methylfolate, right? And then I realized that the juicing, the all the folate. I don't know if you guys use kale. Do y'all use kale?
do we have kale? My brother
What?
Steve is more of the expert on that, but yeah, I think we do.
So it has, folate, right? I'm not a big fan of the spinach per
Hmm.
se,
Yeah, yeah,
because
me either.
it's like a hybrid type of
Yeah.
vegetable. Um, uh, I noticed when I use the kale and other greens, I use cilantro, I use parsley when I'm juicing my greens. I noticed that like my energy is like, whoa, because
Mhm.
I'm getting that the amount of folate that I actually need for my body. And it's extremely
Right.
important, extremely,
Yeah.
prevent cancer. Yeah.
I know we use a lot of celery and uh ginger, and he's got like a whole little blend for a green juice. I don't think
For
kale in it. Huh?
cucumbers or no cucumber.
Cucumber. Yeah. We do a lot of melons as well. But I know kale, obviously kale is a very good one. And I know he personally has played around with a lot of different blends.
I do.
Me, I keep my blends really, really simple, and I'll just basically do like a whole food. So I don't
Okay.
do as much as he does. But yeah, we also, for the group, we try to keep it simple because we're doing a lot. It's the juicing is like one piece of it. It's the main piece, but there's other things. So we try and make sure that people are not overwhelmed with our process, because we're also
Right.
doing herbs right now. And
Awesome.
yeah, the herbal teas are great.
Oh yeah. I'm a huge fan. When I'm fasting, I have to have my herbal teas.
Yeah.
You know, it really is so comforting, and it also helps the detoxification process way faster.
Yeah.
It's go to the bathroom and it's
Yeah, you
those
already
first
know.
days, and it helps it because you can make yourself a warm tea. It kind of gets you cozy, like you feel like you're having a warm soup but you're
Yeah.
not. So
Hmm.
like it just depends on where your mind is at that point. If you're looking for comfort, I tell my friends and people that follow me, I always tell them drink some what is it called, chamomile, a little bit
Yeah,
of that.
chamomile is amazing.
Them It's amazing. Like if you're having muscle spasms and stuff, or like tension all in the head, I mean, it's just going to help with that.
Yeah.
So I am super huge on that. I definitely tell people, the ones that ask me, a lot of people, they ask me about juicing and then they don't do it. They don't do it. I don't
That's the
know.
frustrating part, right? It's
Yeah. It's
yeah,
trying to get them into that, you know, they get motivated, they see you doing it, and then there's like this barrier. I'm not sure. Like there's this, um, you gotta like turn. It's like leaving someone in your relationship. Let's put it
mhm,
this way. Because food is like a relation that you have within yourself, right? And so it's like leaving that and saying goodbye.
mhm.
I'm going to be gone for a while. And so when you leave the food, you got to kind of have that mindset where you're like, okay, me and you have no relationship at the moment, and I'm going to focus on drinking healthy juices, and that's it. So when you see food, it should be something like, oh, that's horrible, I can't believe people eat that stuff, is that type. And that helps me because I'll look at the bad stuff in the food and I'll be like, I can't believe I was putting that in my mouth. It's like, it's crazy. So it
Can
really
you
helped.
can you taste the chemicals now? Like when like, because when I did my whole fast and everything, and I was still learning, I would go back and I have like a Hostess cupcake or something, and it
Mm,
is just, oh, it's actually nasty now. So I
hmm.
could taste the chemicals in it, but before my taste buds were like used to it or trained.
Right. And so that's what a lot of people, when they do juicing, uh, when you go back to food, you are going to taste chemicals, and
Mm.
you are going, when that happened to me when I tried a chip. I've always been a more of a salty foods, like
Mhm.
tortilla chips and salsa, or popcorn. And when I tried Tostito tortilla chip, I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. I was like, wow, I can't believe. I looked at my kids and I said, I can't believe you guys can't taste this. And I have three sons and one daughter, and they're 28, and the youngest is like 16. He just lost 100 pounds. My 16-year-old son. Yes,
What?
that's a
So we need to
whole
get him on the show.
yes, that's a whole nother transformation story. And I got pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
So he, I mean, he's 6 foot. We come from tall people, tall family. My grandmother was 6'3". So,
Wow.
big frame people too. So he was a big boy. And he even tells me right now, he's like, Mom, like it's so crazy when you like stop eating something and then you put it back in and you're like, oh, this is so oily,
Yeah.
or this is so like pizza, let's say.
Mm.
It's so much yeast, and it's just like you pull it and you're like, how does my stomach break this down? You know, that's why people have the overgrowth of bacteria in the
Right.
stomach,
Hmm.
because of those things, unfortunately. And that's what I like to educate people on in areas like that. But yeah, definitely when you go back from when you go from juicing, obviously you're not going to go back to regular food, but there are people that do,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know and I'm sorry, but you're not going to get the results you want.
No.
Like if you're doing it for like a momentarily juice and say like, well, I want to drop 15-20 pounds, and then you go back to eating tacos and hamburgers and fried chicken, I'm sorry, but those results that you like, all that hard work you put in, you just did that for really nothing in
Yeah.
reality, you
Yeah.
know
Hmm.
so you want to have a plan of how you're going to go back to eating. You want to have an idea. And when I did my first juice fast, my plan was to go into a electric alkalining diet. So my
Mm.
first, the first thing I did was, of course, alkalining food. And it was called an electric soup, I believe. I don't remember the ingredients. I'd have to find it on YouTube. I did find it on YouTube, but it was an electric soup, and you actually get like you can use distilled water or spring water, and it's basically veggies, and I believe it had some beans in there, but I don't remember. I don't recall everything, but that's how I started. Of course, I started with fruit, but that became my main meal, was that
Right.
soup.
Hmm.
And just eating foods that were alkaline. And it was challenging. It wasn't the easiest thing, but that was part of my journey. Now I'll just do like basic stuff because it's hard to do a whole alkalining
Yeah.
diet.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
it is tough. It's
It's a lot of
tough.
work. Yeah.
It is work. And if you're busy and like you don't have time, um, it is work. But for that have like an illness, like a diagnosis of like cancer, or they're just so sick of being sick,
Yeah.
like they don't wrong with them. There's people that don't they go to the doctor and doctor says there's nothing wrong with you,
Hmm.
and but you're feeling something,
Hmm.
you know. So if that's, if you're that person, then you would want to do that. You'd want to do the juicing, and then you'd want to get on an alkalining diet, and then find your way from there. Either
Yeah.
go vegan or pescatarian, or try not to put in all that acidic food, because it's just going to make the body all acidic again.
You got
You know,
it.
yeah.
Well, I wanna give people an opportunity to be able to find you, reach out to you, potentially test some of your supplements and things that you have available. So do you have like a website, or I know you're not big on like social media, but do you have some social media you want to share?
I do have my social media. platforms. I have my natural blends. It's a page. And I also have a group that I created a couple of years back. And I have my website. It's www.naturalblends.org.
Okay.
It's not a perfect website. Like I said, I'm still working on that. Like every you know how most people, when they plan a business or they do something, like they get everything, like the logo looks perfect. They got
Yes,
it
that's
perfect.
me.
And me, I started with this, you know, like
Hey, you
this.
gotta start somewhere.
I didn't put no time in it. My husband kept saying, would you like for me to get you a better label? I said, no, thank you. I'm fine. I don't need a label. You know, he kept telling me, and I was just like, no, it's fine. And he's like, well, do you want a website? And I was like, I don't know. And, so I was just like in that mode of like, I didn't even, I didn't have, he said, well, come up with a logo or idea or what is natural blends. And, and up to this day, I still haven't worked on that. But, now they're like these, and
Upgrade,
so
upgrade.
better than the circle one, right?
Right.
The, the awesome part about it is that we make the product, you know,
Mhm.
we make the product. This is a family owned business. We also have helped many people, people that are journeying through cancer. I've donated products to them for free.
Mm.
I've many people. I mean, I can't even count how many people I've helped them out of my heart, because we funded this business with my business that I was doing before, which was
Right.
my taxes. And I make good money doing that. It's a good job. You can make quite a bit of money doing it, and one of these days I'm going to create a coaching class on how to start up your own tax service business, you know, and that can fund what I'm doing. Like it just keeps funding it, and the more I can fund the business, the better I can make it, and share all this information with people,
Yeah.
because it does cost money. It costs us money.
Of course.
It's not cheap to get a website developed. It's not cheap getting people to edit your videos, and it costs money. And you know the only way we can give you guys the best, I guess, out there, is by having um the um the backup, like people
Mhm.
supporting what you do and what you love. And so
Absolutely.
I did that, and I'm working the process of getting everything to look really nice, because I want to have that too. I don't want to be like, well, Jennifer never put any time into her label, or that sort of thing, or she's not putting time into her website. But I do have an Instagram. It's natural blends __. I really don't get too much on Instagram. I'm working on my social media. I am working on a YouTube channel. All
Okay.
of that's coming to
All
effect.
coming. You need it. In this day and age. This is where your customers are, That's you got to
I
go
know,
where they are.
I
Uh,
know, I know. But,
but
I'm going to be honest, it's been a blessing. And, a lot of word of mouth.
mhm.
People, yesterday I did a consultation with, she's actually a doctor in business. So she's going to help me. So I was super
Nice.
excited. She was fighting cancer in the past, and she just wants to keep her immune system healthy and so forth. And she works for the university, and she really told me that she was going to help me. So I was just like, wow, it's just like people cross our path for a reason.
Mhm.
And that's what's happening right now for me. A lot of people have been crossing my path, and I know that it's because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
This is going to happen. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And
Yeah.
it's exciting, and I'm excited, and it's something that I love and enjoy, and I know that I'm going to help people. And
Right.
that's the best part.
That's
And
it.
it helps me too. It helps me when I'm able to help someone else. So
Yeah, that's good.
yes. So absolutely. So I do have that website. It's naturalblends.org. I have a Facebook profile. It's under Jennifer Vallejo. I also have my natural blends page, and it's like aqua blue if you find it. And that's pretty much my platform right now. And that's what I'm gonna focus on, working on that, and also working on a book that I've been putting off for I think 20 years
I
now.
I know how that is.
I'm a writer by heart. I'm a writer, and so I just keep putting the books off,
Hmm.
and I need to put them out there. People need
Yeah,
to read. They need to hear our stories. You know
put
what
them
I
out.
mean?
That's
Yeah.
why, on my channel, these types of stories, these testimonials are the most popular videos I do. People
I
absolutely love these.
I bet. I bet.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I love it. I love it. I love, watching interviews and stuff like that. Like real stuff,
Yeah.
The yeah, because everybody, like, social media is cool. I love social media. I was never a person on social media, but now I am.
Hmm.
And sometimes, it can be a little like, wow, people will see, like, people didn't know my story, and they're like, they just thought, like, is she selling products, or but they didn't know my story. And so, like, slowly I've been sharing my story with people and just making live videos, and
Right.
they're like, oh wow, I didn't know
Hmm.
she went through that, you see. So
Yeah.
it's just, and I'm really excited about making my YouTube channel. I just need to find somebody to help me edit and stuff. I'm stuff,
Yeah.
but yeah. So,
Well,
but it,
listen, I think that, obviously now at the very least you'll have this. Once I'll get this all edited up for you, and you'll have this, something that you can share with people. You could use it however you like. I love the ability to help people, those who are doing in the same vein as me, right? That's helping other people. You clearly have a heart for people. You're in
yeah.
it for the right reason. So, I'll do what I can to aid you. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's me. My vision was actually to begin spreading this wellness programming. Is really, I look at it as wellness programming, and then duplicate that information through other people, because obviously I can't help everybody.
Right.
So the more people that I help who are like in leadership roles and are creating their own communities and disseminating really good information, that's like my goal, because I want to help the world. Like, I want the world. I feel like as a human being, we should be able to be healthy, like as a
Yeah,
baseline, you know, we shouldn't have to fight for health. Um,
you're
so
absolutely
yeah,
you're
I'll do
absolutely
my best to be a resource for you. And
awesome. And
I've been, yeah, definitely.
me too.
I've been in this arena for 7 years now, so
Wow.
I know
Okay.
how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it's just, I think, that's a fantastic idea. I love how you want to incorporate other people into your business now, because it's needed. You can't do everything by yourself.
Hmm.
And it's challenging. It's really challenging because there's so many people that need help. There's so many people who are looking for people like you and people like me.
Yeah.
They're looking for that motivation. They're looking for the encouragement. They're looking for someone's journey as well. You
Hmm.
know, it helps them get through those moments where doctors are giving such bad reports, or people are having such bad reports, and they lose, like, hope.
Yeah.
And then see people like me and like you, and they're like, wow, I want to do what they're doing. I want to learn what they know. And I think that's, it's awesome just to be able to do that for people. It's a service that's just, it's not even, it's, I mean, you can't compare nothing. I can't compare anything to giving people back their health. I
Yeah.
just can't. And it's just because I was there, and I know what it is to be stuck in a bed. And
Yeah.
I know it is for someone to help me put on my clothing, you know,
Mm.
and lose the ability of grip, lose the ability to even go take a shower. I
Mm.
know that. I've been there. And because of that, when someone is telling me their story and I'm hearing it, I'm just like, I know what you're talking about. I'm not you, but I know I've been somewhat in that position.
Yeah.
And it was nice. So it's just like, how do you share all this with everybody? YouTube, social media.
Word of
Exactly.
mouth. Right.
Word of mouth, sharing, everybody sharing each other's stories. I think that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, y'all, if you enjoyed this video, I need you to hit that thumbs up button, like it, share it, definitely. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. We regularly put out interviews with amazing people like Jennifer, sharing their stories. I mean, one of these stories is going to resonate with you, and it'll be that thing that kind of helps motivate you to make that shift. And of course, we provide amazing resources. So check out Jennifer's website, her Instagram. I'm gonna make sure to have the links and everything in the description for you guys. And as always, the application of knowledge is power, and I will see you all next time.